Murder Gods Play Pachinko by Dude with a Mask. Oh, there's the banner. There's the banner. By Dude with a Mask. It's a short mystery, or an anti-mystery, where friends gather in a remote house for the first time in 2 years. This is the place where Kaya took his life. Tensions are high, to say the least. A snowstorm isn't letting out. It appears they're trapped. The only company they have is each other. Little they know, time isn't on their side. He's on his way. Okay. Yes. Yes. This is the exact setting, mood, tone you would come to expect from Dude with a Mask. Such a mastery over that sort of tone. I haven't even started the game yet, but yes, we're going to enjoy this. It's a fairly short adventure, I believe. It's also made in Videotome, which is an engine that I'm very curious about. I might consider poking around with myself sometime, but alas, let us. All right, I have to fire you up. Ready. Lucky. Every sphere has an edge. What on earth is not the kind you can stand over? There is no beckoning abyss, no endless void. The fear of heights comes all the same. Your heartbeat quickens, saliva gathers in your mouth. There's a weight stuck to your breath. That voice at the back of your head reminds you that you're going to die, soon. Your feet are firmly on the ground, yet you're already falling. Remind yourself you're supposed to be standing on a sphere. Simple truth is, you've abandoned the world a long time ago. Murder Gods Play Pachinko. An anti-mystery. Let's fucking do this. Cabin. Inside. Doesn't seem like it's letting up. Cece, come on, sit down already. Can't even see the cars anymore. And this is the first time I've ever been snowed in. Kind of exciting. What's exciting about it? Freezing to death? There he goes again. Third term for people who are hypochondriacs, but for basic life situations. This is a basic life situation to you? Sure, I freeze my ass off all the time. Pay your heating bill. Give me money for it. Get a job. You first. I've got one. Better call in sick or something. I don't think you're showing up on Monday. Not sure about calling. I think the wind knocked over a utility pole there in the distance. As tends to happen in basic life situations. Yet if I told you to stop looking out through that window, you told me to sit down. In fairness, you haven't done that either. Never listens to me. I was just saying something useful. Usually helps. You actually end up getting trapped here for weeks or something. I vote we eat you first. I think he's too skinny to make her a nutritious meal. You don't go into a fine dining restaurant for the portion, but for the flavor. I'm starting to remember why I stopped hanging out with you people, right? That's not why we stopped hanging out. Which we're all perfectly aware of and agreed not to discuss, Yellow. Maybe we should discuss it. Still, I'm not sure how I feel about being here again. Even putting the snowstorm aside, it's really kind of... just feels weird to get together like this. Well, you know how Al is. Do I? Does anybody really know how Al is? Where is he anyway? He's the host. He's supposed to be entertaining us. I don't think any of us won. Owl's idea of entertainment. Ooh. I know you're there. I know you're there, Kaya. I followed all the steps. Markov's fourth principle compels you. Oh. The only really... although we might explain it, but the only really example of Markov's principle I can find especially since we're talking about a matter of existence, is, hmm, hmm, yeah, essentially, if we can't prove that this premise, the Markov's principle, at least the version that I've found, is a mathematical thing, where if you can't prove that the function is false for all numbers n, then the function is true for some potential number n. So if you can't prove that Gaia doesn't exist with 100% certainty, then perhaps Gaia does exist in some way, shape, or form. So the moment, mine and yours, be back soon. Do you understand? How does it feel? Can you even feel anything in that state? Are you still you? Are you the same Gaia that cried in my arms? Who begged me for answers, for my wisdom? I don't know how to tell you this, but I figure you should know. I killed you. Oh no. Sorry, I'm having a moment here. Yet I'm also the one trying to ensure you live. What am I then? That's what I want to know. Can a murderer ever stop being a murderer? I look forward to finally finding out. When I was a child, they told me that I should save the world. I would save the world 11 hours until arrival. Now that it's just the two of us. What's up? You seem so distracted. Don't I always? More than usual. I just keep thinking that the whole thing reminds me of a setup to a mystery novel. Trapped in a snowstorm, cut off from the rest of the world. What, perfect time for us to start killing each other? We've come pretty close over far less. You say that like we're already sharpening knives or something. I think Richter knows about us. So, you know how he feels about you. I know that's neither of our problems. What, are we supposed to stop? You're scared he'll horribly murder us both? No, just me. Tragic. Guess you better kill him first. I'm more the type to roll over and die. You've got nobody to blame but yourself. Kinda your fault, I'd argue, for seducing me and all. You signed a waiver when we started, remember? What? Don't think it covered murders. They were strongly applied. I'm a femme fatale, and a very disappointed one at that. Who'd let Rich just kill you like that? Rich, of all people. You signed a waiver when you started dating. What, like a... a pre-romance prenup? Feels like you're goading me into actually killing him. Next pillow talk can be all about your cool mystery plan to murder Rich. Femme fatale or femme freak, jury's still out. The triple F. The elusive triple F. It was written in the Voynich manuscript. This power was in our blood. 10 hours until arrival. Oh, hello. Hey. Nah. What? You're gonna ask me if I'm thinking about Kaya. Answer's nah. I mean, I wasn't gonna ask if you were thinking about him. I know you are. Just wanted to see if you're handling it well. There's nothing to handle. Right, except we are in the house where he died. We said we weren't going to talk about this. We have to at some point. Why? Why not talk about other things, huh? Like Yellow and Cece. Let's talk about that. Come on, man, I'm not trying to hurt you. What do you want then? Say that I'm great. Say that I haven't spent the better part of 2 years thinking about what happened. I'm thrilled to see all my friends again, even when I feel one of them might have killed him. Whoa, come on. What happened was he never would have killed himself. The door was locked. We broke it down. The key was in his pocket. We were all there. Locked room. There's the locked room, and the windows were locked, and nobody else was hiding in the bedroom, and he was shot all the same. But he didn't kill himself. Oh, Bowie. Al brought us all here. Would have made a spare key for all of our rooms. Al's a lot of things, but he's not a killer. Why not? If he's a lot of things, he could be a couple more. We were all together since the morning, right up until we heard the gunshot. The shot could have been a recording. The body was warm, the gun was in his hand, and the muzzle was still hot. There was no recording, Bowie. This is why I wanted to talk to you. What, I'm losing my mind? I just don't want you to do something rash. Rash? Oh, heavens no. I'm just gonna go upstairs to my room and blow my brains out. Boy, for crying out loud! Stop calling me Bowie. They keep asking me why I never used my power to become rich. 9 hours until arrival. Still hiding out here? Not very well, it seems. I'm trying to come up with a clever way to kill Richter. Richter's the writer. I'm sure he'll be happy to brainstorm his own demise. Want something that uses all this snow. How's Cece? I'm thinking of a classic. He's found in the snow, shot at close range, guns next to him. But the only footprints leading to his body are his own. Doesn't really work if the snow doesn't stop falling, though. Everything else feels so boring. Not all deaths need to be interesting. Doesn't Richter deserve to be remembered? I think most people would hate to be remembered by how they died. I'm ensuring longevity. How kind. You're the occult researcher, you should understand. Die normally and you're remembered by the closest to you. Then they die, then there's nothing. Then mysteriously, and you're part of something greater, a legend. Those can't die. Again, a strange courtesy to someone you want dead. Never said I wanted him dead. He's my friend. I just want to understand how I'd go about killing him. All I'm saying is, it should be something interesting. Not everyone has the same definition of interesting as you, Yellow. Why do you think I'm talking to you? You're trying to come up with a puzzle. Those are boring. They have the promise of an answer. I'm after the inexplicable. That's just intellectual laziness. Everything has an answer. Whether or not you can comprehend it is a different story. Differing mindsets. The search for the things without answers, and the belief that things don't not have answers. That was a weird sentence. Things don't not have answers. They, 100% have answers, we just can't understand them. Simple enough. Richter should die in Colossus. Never heard of it. In the 40s and 50s, the Soviets built what they called research cities. Think like Los Alamos, but with a more brutalist landscape. Today, most are either abandoned or never had people move in to begin with. Primarily mismanagement or political turmoil. But Colossus is particular because it was the only one that was seemingly left empty by design. Russians built the city, set a giant wall around it, and set a patrol of soldiers to guard it. Prison without any prisoners, so it would seem. Most documentation as to what the point of Colossus was got lost. Soldiers were only ever told not to let anything in or out. Even the KGB wasn't of much help. Documents were either destroyed or gone. Unusual for an intelligence agency. 1990s, the government got tired of wasting resources on guarding the thing. They gave one of the soldiers a camera and sent him into the city. A day later, he reappeared outside the city. The camera was broken, and so was his neck. Oh, he was horrifically decomposed. Oh. The soldiers guarding the city swore up and down. Nobody could have gotten past them. So, they just didn't pay attention. Pretty sure this city is completely fictional, but it's very neat. The city had squatters. They killed him, broke the camera, and dragged his body out. You don't understand. When I say the man reappeared, I mean he reappeared in a dry well in a homestead in Nevada. In less than a day, something in Colossus teleported him to the other side of the world. The soldiers' outpost was eventually abandoned all the same. I guess teleportation just wasn't interesting to the Soviets. Oh, I'm sure it was. I'm sure more than a few men ended up in Nevada wells since. Sooner or later, they must really realize there's a wall between them and understanding. They chose to let it be. You could say they got intellectually lazy. They couldn't figure it out. Why are you looking into it? I told you I'm not interested in answers. After the promise of the impossible, and what comes after it. There's an after? Of course. You may not be able to explain the phenomenon, but the phenomenon still exists. You still live in the same world as it, right? By the way, I didn't think Richter would be in the mood to explore abandoned Soviet cities. I'm actually trying to make a different point. You'll notice I never told you the dead man's name. Know why? Why? I never cared enough to find out. My mother would die in a fire. I did nothing to save her. These little narrations, Al. I'm worried about Bowie. Bo's always been a bit of a little bundle of mess. Just let him do whatever. He thinks one of us killed Kaya. What am I supposed to do about that? Take a polygraph? We were all together when Kaya blew his brains out, and that isn't enough for him. What will be? I just thought, I don't know. We're his friends. We should help him. The only thing that would satisfy him is if Kaya walked through that door again. It's his grief. He'll simmer in it. He'll move on. Someday. What? You can be so cold sometimes. Guess I'm just that horrible a gal. Don't give me the puppy dog eyes. I just wish things got back to the way they were, you know? It's a pretty childish way of thinking. Things always change. Things changed even before Kaya died. Why do you think Bo is this upset? He and Kaya got drunk and slept together at my birthday party. I never knew, right? Oh, you innocent little boy. Anyway, Bo wanted something after that. Kaya didn't. You know how Kaya was. He might have escaped his upbringing. That kind of stuff gets rooted deep. His parents told him he was the Messiah. Messiahs don't get to be gay. Oh. It's not like he actually believed that. I don't know about that. Guy talked about some weird stuff when he got drunk. I think he genuinely believed he had superpowers. Between you and me, he always kind of creeped me out. What kind of person has the need to spend his life going around the world? Constantly exploring. Going to jungles, weird ancient caves, pyramids, all those expeditions of his. He'd spent his whole life just wandering the world. For what? What did he ever find? He was always just lost. Like he didn't belong and couldn't cope. He wasn't like that. People just misunderstood him. Eh, sorry if the cut is noticeable. I'm been doing a lot of reading for someone who's still who's still on antibiotics for a respiratory infection. I'll take your word for it. You knew him longer than any of us. We grew up together. That's what I'm telling you. It wasn't like that. He had his burdens. He was what he was. He just wasn't as much to me as he was to you guys, I guess. Tough. You seem angry. I'm really not. You just don't get me. Like, at all. So I'm sometimes not sure what the image of me you must have to want to fuck me as badly as you do. What? I'm sorry, that was uncalled for. What if this is how you talk to Yellow? With respect, that's none of your business. Every day I wake up with the knowledge that I'm somehow already dead. How? 7 hours until arrival. Yellow. Bo. Yellow. Bo. Yellow. Bo. Yellow's trying. Yellow and Richter Richter is trying. In his own way, Yellow is certainly doing things. Cece is being, looking down her nose at everyone else. Richter's the one who valued the friend group the most. Yellow was kinda, I don't know if it's fair to say Yellow's under Cece's thumb. Cece was perhaps most distant. So when Kaya died, Cece drifted. Bo was obviously the most hurt by Kaya's passing and has not quite recovered from it. Richter is trying to keep everyone together by virtue of nostalgia, and is also probably fighting a attraction to Cece. That Cece knows about. Obviously lashed out with, but alas. Good talk. Wait. Yellow, You're the smartest guy I know. Oh, thanks. Wait, what? I want your opinion on something. Look at this. Ooh, we're thinking. Thinking about Kaya's death. I'm more than just thinking by the looks of it. The door and the window were locked. Fine. But there's nobody hiding in the room. Fine. We were together when we heard the gunshot. Fine. And look, Al was the one who assigned us the rooms, right? Isn't it weird how Al's office is right next to Kaya's bedroom? Had to be next to someone's. You see how each side of the wall has a bookcase. I think I see where this is going. We were together when we heard the shot. Went and broke the door down. Do you remember what happened after that? Well, Al checked that Kaya was dead. We were all pretty shaken up, so we went outside the bedroom. I went to his office to call the police. Uh-huh. So what if when we broke the door down, Kaya wasn't actually dead? What if it was a prank he and Al cooked up together? Then when he went to call the police, Al used a secret passage between the bookcases, snuck back into the bedroom, and killed Kaya for realsy. Well, that's... We would have heard a gunshot. Could have used a silencer. Silencers wouldn't actually silence that much, especially not if we were right outside. We were all in shock. And if you want to make Kaya's death a locked room murder, there are a lot more practical solutions. For example, after we broke the door down, I'm the one who went to the window to check if it was locked. For killing Kaya, the killer could have snuck out of the window. If I was an accomplice, I could have locked it behind him. It's a pretty small room, we would have seen you. Maybe. It could be that Kaya's death wasn't instantaneous. He was shot in the head. I guess, but stranger things have happened. Let's say Al killed him. He went to his room earlier in the day, shot Kaya with a silencer, and put the gun in his hand. He then locked the door from the outside and went to join us. By a sheer stroke of luck, Kaya wasn't dead and woke up. Bullet in his brain, his thinking was disjointed. He could barely move. While trying to figure out what was going on, he would have accidentally fired off the gun in his hand. It caused the gunshot, caused it to break the door down. Making sure Kaya was dead, he put the key in his pocket. That's very stupid, I know. After all, if that happened, there would have been a second gun. Second gun? A second bullet on the scene from Kaya firing the gun. And since it was a stroke of luck the second gunshot even happened, it's a pretty risky plan on Al's part. The gunshot's the only reason we were even certain none of us could have done it. What if all those ideas are valid, though? What if it was something like this? Al tells Kaya that they're gonna make a prank and gives him a gun. Tells him to point the gun out the window and shoot. Kaya does so, but it's a trap. Al rigged the gun to shoot backwards. Kaya's shot in the head, but he doesn't die. Or Al told Kaya that he rigged the gun to shoot backwards, and then Kaya tried to shoot out the window backwards, but then Kaya realized far too late that what Al claimed was actually not possible whatsoever, and was shot in the head. His brain's scrambled and he doesn't even realize he's been shot. He locks the window and falls over dead. After we find the body and leave the room, Al uses the secret passage to switch the trick gun with a normal one. His original idea was to make it look like Kaya was killed by an intruder, and that the intruder tried to make it look like a suicide. Since Kaya closed the window, that wasn't an option, but it made suicide that much more certain. How about it? It's an interesting idea, I'll give you that. That raises another question. Al had no reason to kill Kaya. Al did it because he wanted to see if he could. He wanted to make us wonder why it all happened. Create something inexplicable, huh? That seems to actually track with Al's motives. With Al's mindset. Well, if you're right, then that leads us to another interesting point. He gathered us last time with the intention to kill someone. Why'd he gather us now? None of us have a locked room. None of us have a room next to his office this time, so he won't try the same thing twice. It'd be too suspicious anyway. It would also be inexplicable if Kaya somehow returned. Similarly, he now needs to make it look like a suicide as well, otherwise Kaya's death comes into question. Maybe he's trying to create a legend of a mansion that makes people kill themselves. What if our rooms have some kind of secret passage as well? True. He knew nobody would be in Kaya's room. Maybe there's a passage between it and the room next to it now. Who's in the room next to Kaya's? Victor. Let's suppose we find Victor dead in his room. Psychologically, Al wouldn't want us to focus in on the gun in Kaya's case, so he'd use some other method. This time he'd go for something more quiet. Let's say Victor hanged himself. The doors and windows must obviously be locked. It is not much of a mystery. There'd be a secret passage. And yes, with a second death, the police would be more suspicious than last time. They'd probably search the house more thoroughly and find both the secret passages. Wouldn't that put Al in hot water? Which was why Al would have to make sure to clearly exonerate himself when killing Victor. Logically, the only way for him to achieve that would be if he himself died. So let's say Al was also found dead in his office. We'll say he stabbed himself. Variety's important. Door and window are also locked. For completeness, Kaya's bedroom also has to be locked up. This means that, even with the secret passages, we effectively have one large locked room. Doesn't everything point to Al anyway? He could just strangle Victor and kill himself in his office, right? Just Al would make it sure that it looks like he died before Victor. How? The knife used to kill Al would be found in Victor's room. It's proven Al died instantaneously, and that would cinch it. But then it would look like Victor killed him. So, would you or anyone who knew Victor accept he's a murderer or that he'd kill himself? Of course not. We'd spend the rest of our lives wondering what compelled him. Funny how you were also the one. Yeah, this is very much becoming a case of Yellow's own will of wanting to give Victor a memorable death as a courtesy. An average death gets solved and then you get forgotten when the last people who knew you die. A memorable death, you become a legend. And that's how the mystery would become a legend in its own right. Yep, there it is, a ghost story. How would Al do it? Die instantaneously but move the knife. It's not about moving the knife. If the knife ends up in Victor's room, it's more believable if he dies there too. Who moves the body then? Well, Al would have already killed Victor by this point, so it can't be him. Meaning there'd be only one option left. You have to teleport his body. What? This city in Russia called Colossus. You're fucking with me. I'd never. I'm being serious and you're fucking with me. Fuck you, Yellow. I thought I was the one doing the fucking. Make up your mind. This place is cold. The cities are ruins. What am I even looking for? Yeah, those narration bits are very much, Kaya. Al? Yellow at least knocked. What's the game here? What are we doing here? Having a friendly reunion. You've been in here the entire time. You're not dumb. You know things. We aren't good. Why'd you bring us here? Well, don't play coy. Please. I need to know. Did you kill Kaya? Let me ask you something else instead. Is there such a thing as a docile god? A god who refuses their own position? Who doesn't intervene with humanity? Covers their ears and plays dumb to their cries? I'm not in the mood for esoteric discussions. 2 years ago, Kaya wasn't even supposed to come here. He had an expedition. He never would have abandoned it. And you convinced him to come. How? Why? Why was it so important to you? What a fascinating question. Let me ask you another one. Why was Kaya's work so important to him? Why did he dedicate his life going off on those expeditions? I am so wrestling brain rotted that when I see expeditions in quotes, I have to say it like, expeditions. If you know, you know. For months or even years. Stop dodging the question already. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. He'd been told how the world worked before he uttered his first words. Worse, he'd been placed at the very center of it. Once he escaped all that, he had to rebuild his entire belief system. Find meaning. To To me, it always seemed, though, that he wanted to find meaning by discounting other people's. Finding the corners of the world, the things that never made sense. I think we were very alike in that regard. He was nothing like you. When you were born, you were also told he was the Messiah, weren't you? Is there a part of you that still believes that? See, in my mind, Messiahs die. Gods don't. One can always become the other. Messiahs just need to learn the pitfalls of pointless self-sacrifice. Not everyone needs to die on a cross to make a difference. Jesus himself could have made meteorites rain down from the sky and destroy the Roman Empire, established a new world order, made himself live forever and rule the world, and save the countless lives taken in his own name. Channel the power of the Old Testament God and you can do some really fucked up shit. Instead, he sent down manna and died. What a beautiful world we live in, don't you think? This car keeps shaking. The driver tells me we're about halfway there. 5 hours? Is he gonna, show up at a taxi? You okay? Oh, yeah, sorry. He's had an exhausting conversation with Rich. Still trying to come up with a way to kill him. Oh, hurry it up. But joking aside, it did remind me of something. Okay, they are joking. Remember that time we were at Beau's place? After the Ribbon Drop concert? Right. I don't think you were there that time. Anyway, Kai got drunk. He started talking about what he always kind of talked about, his childhood and stuff. So I asked him, kind of as a joke, why were they so certain he was the chosen one? He said he was just the next in a long line. His father was also considered holy. So of course I asked, what made you guys so special? You know what he said? He said he could see the future. What? I know, right? Up to 7 days. Huh. Isn't that something? Why didn't he hit a casino and play the roulette? That's what I asked. He said he made it a point to never influence or divert from what he saw. A docile god who refuses their position. That's precisely what Al was talking about, eh? And just observed and accepted. That's how he was raised. Raised by a bunch of cultists. Again, what I said. Does that mean he would have just let me die if I got on a plane that crashed? Guess so. I'm totally useless. Maybe that's why he killed himself. Oh. Damn. If Beau's right, though, and Al actually killed him, does that mean he'd let himself be killed? Dumbass. Idiot. Fool. Maybe he just didn't bother checking. I liked him well enough. As a friend. Kaya talking about Beau? Getting dark. What? Oh shit. Here we go again. What happened? Beau's dead. Yes, I can fucking see that. What happened? Why is he holding a gun? Isn't it obvious he came here to kill me? And where's yours? Why would I have one? I didn't shoot him. Who did then? He shot himself. Enough, Ow. Honest. He came here to kill you and you just changed his mind, huh? Something like that. You'll forgive me if I don't believe you. You came down here in seconds. I'm still sitting behind my desk. Search all you want. The only gun in this room is in his hands, and I had no time to put it there. There's no other gun here. Nobody hiding either. Just like... You're making it sound like you've got the power to get people to kill themselves. It would be a very extraordinary gift, wouldn't it? What do you think, Kaya? Aren't you entertained? What? Why are you... He's toying with us. There's something not right about this gun. The muzzle's not warm. The backer doesn't look right either. Ah, you spotted it so fast. I thought Yellow would see it first. Yes, the trick is at the gun. It fires... Whoa! Well, alright then. It fires backwards. It... what? Ever since Kaya's death, all guns in this house were modified to do so, actually. Something like this was inevitable. That's ridiculous. Is it? You're talking garbage. The mechanics don't matter. He killed Beau. And I'm starting to believe he might have killed Kaya. Well, not physically, but I certainly advised him to kill himself. You what? What was I supposed to do? He'd seen the future. He'd seen himself commit suicide. He was adamant that he couldn't stray from what he'd seen, ever. That was how he'd been raised. He clearly wanted reassurance, the strength to stand by his principles, and I gave it to him. In that sense, then, yes, I killed him. What now? I see you, Al. Oh. 3 hours till arrival. Well, Bo's dead. Gosh dang it. Kaya is coming. Doesn't seem like it's letting up. Come on, sit down already. Can't even see the cars anymore. You couldn't see the cars all day. No, with a landline. Knew the wind knocked over a utility pole. We're actually stuck here. With him. It really wasn't necessary to tie me up. I won't hurt you. Keep your fucking mouth shut. But don't forgetting Bo genuinely wanted me dead. Maybe he had the right idea. So aggressive. You never change, you know. Can we gag this wannabe Bond villain? Honestly, I second the notion. Wait. Something's bothering me. Why did you replace the guns to fire backwards? Wasn't it obvious? I can't have people shooting themselves in my house. If they go around shooting others, I figure they have it coming. This fucking guy. What's bothering you, Yellow? Besides, you know, everything. You're the one who fronted the idea to Bo. Who found a gun, took it to Al, who probably floated the idea to Al. It's weird. Bo and I spoke today. Talked about theories for how Kaya might have been murdered. When he was talking, I was mostly not taking it seriously. One of Bo's ideas was that Kaya accidentally killed himself by firing a trick gun. And somehow I can't believe it was just a coincidence. You think Bo was right? No, not really. I'm still sure Kaya killed himself. I mean, the police can't be dumb, but I'm sure they would have found something not being right. Besides, for Bo's theory, there had to be secret passages, and Kaya surviving with a bullet hole in his head to close the window. That makes it even weirder. Such a random and stupid idea, Bo still got killed in exactly the same way. Maybe Al was listening in on you. Right, we had that conversation just a few hours ago. How do you have the time to apply the mechanism to the guns in this house? We're in the middle of a snowstorm. I also can't think of how he eavesdropped on us. We were at the library. There was nobody around. Pretty sure he never even left his office all day. But he'd still somehow heard it, and had time to act on it. Like he'd heard it before it happened. You're not seriously going to tell me Al can see into the future? Well, that's the fun part, isn't it? You can look for proof of it, but if I can see into the future, I can set and avoid pitfalls as I choose. I'll spare you the trouble. I'm no fortune teller. Very trustworthy. Wait, what am I saying? This is ridiculous. Nobody can see into the future. Logic seems to imply that someone must be able to. If Al can't do it, he got the information from someone that can. Know anyone that fits the bill? Kaya? Wait. Kaya? Okay. Even if we now assume people can see into the future. Big if, by the way. Kaya said he could only see up to 7 days in advance. He's been dead for 2 years. Huh. Maybe there's someone else then. No, Kaya was... He's the only living member of the sacred bloodline. There's nobody else. Okay, cultist, you could be wrong, you know? There's nobody else. They were cultists, but they knew things. They showed us things. Alright, I'll accept it. Kai's the only one who could have ever seen into the future. Kai could only ever see 7 days ahead. Kai looked in the future and saw me and Bo talking. He then told Al about it. Solve for X. What does that imply? Kai's not dead. Bullshit. For all that to be true, Kai had to have been alive for the past week. You were all there. We saw the body. The police performed an autopsy. Is Kaya really alive on another plane of existence? Or has Al kind of, like, mastermind manipulated his friends to create a scenario which creates this exact deduction, which mathematically proves Kaya back into existence? Enough of this. Al's trying to take you for a ride. don't remember saying anything. This is all you. Victor's right, and he has no reason to be. This is where logic leads us. Kaya, by necessity, had to have been alive as of last week. Yeah, It's very interesting, this inexplicable hint that Al is on. So either Kaya is really not dead and is feeding Al information, or Al is using Markov's principle to generate the world state where logically Kaya had to have been alive, therefore Kaya can return to life, because logically, in order for the events that have happened here to have happened, Kaya would need to have been alive and feeding Al information with his power. Wild, but I kind of love it. And yet he died 2 years ago. Maybe Al figured out a way to raise the dead. You're already accepting the existence of clairvoyance. Even if Kaya really was alive, you're telling me he would look at what's happened here, and then not only do nothing about it, but give Al information to make it happen. They could just let Bo get himself killed. Why not? Supposedly he was willing to kill himself if it meant fulfilling his visions. A self-fulfilling prophecy had its very own prophet. Well, Rich, is that the kind of man Kaya was? You tell us. This man has no real power. Sits in his office and muses, taunts people with knowledge. He basks in how clever he is, but will only ever do the bare minimum. Logistically, even if you could bring the dead back, he'd never bother. That required digging Kaya up, transporting his body somewhere, performing a ritual or a rite, or injecting a strange serum. What if it didn't work? What if he was wrong? You'd never accept it, would you, Al? That's why you'd never even try. That's why you were never anything like Kaya. Kaya searched for the unknown for his whole life. He just listened to quacks and grandstanded. Never once Kaya died, he was never brought back. There was nobody to bring him back. Another contradiction, then. He was alive recently, but died long ago. Then, do we reverse our thinking? He was alive last week, and only after that got himself killed 2 years ago. Time travel? It's the only way to explain it. So you're saying for the past 2 years, Kaya was actually alive, then went back in time to kill himself. How does that make any sense? Where was he all this time? Was he just fine hiding from everyone? Was that the plan? How do we not know anything about it? 2 years ago, Kaya wasn't even supposed to be here. He was set to go on an expedition. When he showed up, I was certain Al had somehow convinced him to change his mind. What if he hadn't? What if for the past 2 years, Kaya had been on the expedition? In the past week, he looked into the future and saw all this happening. At which point, he also discovered something that sent him back in time to 2 years ago. Then he came here. He told Al what he'd seen. He didn't know what to do. He followed his own vision he'd seemingly come here to kill himself. Al advised him to do just that, and Kaya did. God, that's also sounding plausible. The loop closed. This is fucking stupid. You're telling me Kaya has the power to check the future anytime he pleases. Anytime in any place. You're telling me that for the past 2 years he didn't check on any of us, and he couldn't have easily understood that we thought he was dead. Because whenever he looked, he never saw himself coming back to us. That's who he always was. He never interfered. A docile god. Huh. Both Yellow and Rich, influenced by their talks with Al, privately. Out of curiosity, where was the expedition to? I know the details. Somewhere in Russia. They're chasing all the research cities abandoned by the Soviets. I see. That's why you told me that story, isn't it, Al? I think I understand what happened to that soldier who went to Colossus. You told me that. When he was found a day later in Nevada, he was heavily decomposed. That doesn't make sense, does it? It'd only been a day. How could decomposition hit that badly? The only answer is that he wasn't just transported through space. Something in Colossus had moved him through time, too. He probably found himself displaced a year or more into the past, right on top of the well. Fell into it, breaking his camera and his neck. Kai ended up elsewhere, but was more fortunate. The city still displaced him to the US. He didn't need to bother with travel or ID. He just kept a low profile until the get-together. Well done. 1 hour until arrival. Oh boy. I still don't understand. Even if all this is true, why the hell did this have to happen? You can't just tell me all of this was born from a loop? For the loop's sake? It's senseless. It's stupid. It is stupid, isn't it? To have the power of knowing and still do nothing to change it. Kai can pretend it's wisdom, but it's just a lack of responsibility. Kai killed himself because he felt like he had to. He cried in my arms, telling me he didn't want to. He acknowledged the senselessness and still did it. I couldn't believe it. I was so angry I told him to do it. Regretted it, but not much, so I saw it as a chance. A chance for an experiment. You see, regarding his vision for today, Kai explained what he saw down to the last detail. Every conversation, every interaction. It's true. Among these conversations, he told me about the one Yellow and Bo had. I got an idea. What if I did what Kai always refused to do? What if I ensured things played out differently than how he told me? In his version of events, Bo went to my study and shot me in the shoulder. What if I tampered with the guns and had him die instead? Do you understand, Kaya? The future you're seeing is different from the one your past version saw. When you reach Colossus, you'll go back in time. How you will act will not possibly be the same as the previous version of you did. After all, you're not working with the same information anymore. Your actions will lead to a different past. Kill yourself all you like. You will do something different. That, in turn, will lead to yet another version of this day. You don't want to change anything? Too bad. Because of your entire philosophy, Bo's now dead. That's on you. Your failures. Can you accept that? You can fix it, you know. Just don't die. Don't even show up here. Live a happy life. Actually love the man you know you love instead of getting him killed. Use your knowledge to make the world a better place. Let go of your ego and the teachings of the people who wanted to use you. Even consider the kinds of things you could do. If at the end of every week you looked into what happened within the next 7 days, you just spoke out loud what you saw, a version of you for the week prior would see you describing a future further away. You'd shade it to however far you want. You can know what happens years down the line, not just days. But you're not stupid. You were probably already doing that, weren't you? You know exactly where this world is going. You don't go to those expeditions to get answers. You do it to run away. Well, you can't. Not anymore. I've tricked you. I've won. Time's up. You've arrived at Colossus. Take control of your damn life. Right now. And if he lied? What? You said you'd change the future. What if this is the future he'd always seen? He just lied to you about what he saw. What if you're still following the script? I'll still believe, all the same. Even if things play out like this for thousands upon thousands of years, even if I say these exact words again and again to the same man with the same mindset, maybe at some point my words get through to him. Physics teaches us about relativity. Can the universe really accept this kind of nonsense? Can Gaia himself accept this kind of nonsense? Is this world not worth fighting for? Okay, that was cool. Ooh. I love the silhouettes. And we don't ever really know, do we? We don't ever really know. It's advertised as an anti-mystery, but there's still a very intriguing mystery of a different sort. Very intriguing mystery of a different sort here. Kind of that is really, really, that's really tickling me in the brain thought organs here. Hmm. Determinative thoughts on the ethics of time travel and knowledge of the future. The idea of Colossus is very interesting too. So if I'm understanding right, hmm, it's a version of Kaya who didn't show up to the gathering 2 years ago. One of the expeditions for 2 years made it to Colossus. Oh, who regularly reviewed what happened, made it to Colossus, got displaced 2 years in the past. So, 2-year-older Kaya went to the gathering in place of present Kaya, because 2-year-old Kaya foresaw that he was going to the gathering. 2-year-older Kaya foresaw that he was going to the gathering. Two-year-old Kaya. Suppose Kaya's event here, and Kaya's power here, can see everything across the board, which is why Kaya would have had knowledge about how this 2-year reunion gathering happened. And because of Kaya's, like, God, this really sad though. Kaya raised in a cult, part of a sacred bloodline that can see universally see the future. Because of his upbringing, like, he can't shake the shackles of his birth, essentially, his upbringing. Can't shake that. That's what ruined his relationship with Bo. God, that's a really hefty cliffhanger to lead to leave off on. What if he lied? What if Kaya lied? Kaya lives his life innocently on a 2-year expedition, goes to Colossus, gets displaced 2 years in the past, because Kaya consistently reviews his future. Hmm. How much did Kaya relate to Al? And what prompted that relating to Al, I wonder? Obviously, there had to be some explanation about this. Did Kaya know, when Kaya left to go on the expedition, that a version of Kaya would come back and die in the cabin on the mountain. I mean, there's a lot of interesting questions here. The concept is thrilling. I very much enjoy that. Murder gods play Pachinko. Why is a TV series the first thing that comes up for Pachinko? Hmm. It is very much a game of chance in a sense, isn't it? I'm realizing I don't actually know all that much about Pachinko. It's sort of comparable to slots and pinball, in a sense, but yes. Yeah, how and why did, like, displaced Kaya relate what he did to Al? Very curious about the why, because it wasn't really essential for the loop, is it? Unless, like, that was the motivation, which drilled home to Kaya that Kaya needed to die in the cabin 2 years ago. Observe, like, if Kaya could really observe the coming week for essentially anything in the world, and he reviewed it, and he noticed this, and went, whoa, what? I died 2 years ago? Everyone's getting together now? Observed everything that happened in here while he was traveling to Colossus. Goes to Colossus, and in explaining why he overwhelmingly had to die, despite not wanting to die, to Al, ends up relating this, because this happens 2 years ago and I can't change that. Something non-interference and all that. Okay, that clicks. I think I just talked myself. I think I just closed the loop on how that works. There is the possibility that Kaya saw that Bo would die and didn't want to admit it to himself. Either, like, three scenarios. One, Al knowing the conversation they'd have about the backwards gun. Settle this up far in advance to get Bo, because Kai did tell Al that Bo would shoot them in the shoulder, and then we made an attempt to change the future. And this plea of theirs has reached Kaya. I'm still kind of leaning toward that. There's a very real possibility. Cece's question is still very much in play. There's a very real possibility that if Kaya went into this knowing that Bo would die, they decided to lie by telling Al that Bo would shoot them in the shoulder, thinking that Al would let it happen since they were complicit in encouraging Kaya to follow through, only for Al to try and screw the rules and inadvertently make Kaya's true vision come true anyways, and keep the loop going. Never know. Also the irony that the bystanders and the friend group aren't actually a part of the loop. They will go on from here. Bo is still dead, so their lives are probably ruined once again. But God, what a fascinating little mystery. What a fascinating little mystery. That really tickles the mystery brain in me. But alas, alright. I'm gonna go here before my voice gives out. Hope you enjoyed this little Pachinko game. And I will see you next time. Consider this my one-off for missing the upload on Friday the 13th. Until next time. Until then, good night.